What's going on, guys? I'm back with another one. And I just watched a movie called Alien Romulus. And I want to say noodles so bad after that. Like, I don't know why Romulus sounds like ramen to me. Anyways, starring Kaylee Spaney, David Johnson, and Spike Fern. First of all, we all know who the stars are of these movies. The Xenomorphs, the black, slimy, greasy, black as midnight oil looking aliens. Okay? But for some reason, recently over the years, the synthetics have become more of the main attraction.
It's not right.
No, it's not right, but it's obvious. It's highly obvious what's going on here. Okay? I mean, especially in Prometheus, where, if you don't know by now, spoiler alert, not a damn one of those aliens show up, or Xeno, until the end of that movie. Okay? All right, so yes, they're focusing on David the entire time. My proof to this. Or I'll just go down synthetic lane. Okay, I'll break down so far how these synthetics have been highlighted in these films from then until now. And my first one I'm going with is Ash from the first Aliens, or Alien, singular. Ash really just came off as shady from the get. I already knew something was wrong with Ash, man. I already knew something was kind of not right. Like he was up to something. And I could tell. It was just too creepy and shady looking. All right, and maybe if the actor was more of a subtle looking robot, I don't know. He screams villainous. All right, so I knew something was wrong already. Our next one, Bishop from Aliens and Aliens 3. Honestly, I don't really remember a lot about Bishop. I mean, I guess he was a good guy. I don't know. He just kind of faded into the background. He kind of forgettable. He's one of the forgettable ones. Out of all the ones that I can remember as synthetics, Bishop is the forgettable synthetic. Kind of non-irrelevant at this point. To me, I don't remember him. And I liked Aliens. Part 3 is pretty cool. I like it a little better than part 2, not gonna lie. But Bishop, unless he's got a Jerry curl and a mullet on his head, I didn't care about him. Yeah. Because that Bishop, way more important than this one. Okay? And the other Bishop too. The other Bishop. You know what I'm talking about. Another synthetic I have to mention. Anna Lee Call from Aliens Resurrection. Now, this is the one played by Winona Ryder. She almost would not be, relevant as well. But it was the fact that she was so scared all the time. Despite the fact that she's a robot. She is a robot. You are a robot. What are you scared of? Why are you so chicken? Throughout this entire movie, you're chicken. And it baffled me. Like, you don't really feel pain or die. Or they programmed to actually think they're feeling pain when they get hit or stabbed or whatever. I don't know, but it just seemed like she was so cowardly and like a Richard Pryor character the entire time. Just the shaking and all that I just didn't care quite for her character. I didn't care for her at all. Not really, man. And it's cool that Winona Ryder stepped up and played that part. You know, awesome, whatever. But you know, nah, man. Next synthetic, and one of the top king synthetics, in my opinion, David from Prometheus and Alien Covenant. David is the man in this situation. He was so calm, but at the same time, you felt something coming. You felt something brewing up in David's little computer overhead. He was so smart, and he was very curious about a lot of things, and just wondering in it. And what? And he said some of the weirdest crap that any robot could say that would be highly alarming to me. If I was on that ship with that crew and David said some of the stuff he said, like, what did he say? That isn't it normal for people to want their parents dead? Bro, yeah, at that point and moment, I'm gonna need you to turn David off, shut him down, look for that off button, turn the switch down, take his batteries out, hang him up in the closet somewhere, put him in the attic somewhere. All right, please do something with David. Do something with David, because something bad is about to happen with this dude. All right. It's the whole Terminator effect going on. There's a whole Skynet thing going on. You make them too smart and start to thinking, what do you expect? What do you think's gonna happen? Yeah, and that goes for AI lovers out there. You love your AI so much. You love AI so much. Yeah, keep having fun with that. All right, see what it's gonna get you. I'm waiting. I'm counting down the days until that happens. All right. Last couple that I gotta mention, the first couple on the list, actually. Mother and father from Raised by the Wolves. Now, this little duo here, there is a definite issue with this. And I've already mentioned it when I talked about the show in its entirety from last time. Unfortunately, it only had 2 seasons. But what I have to say here is that mom was the aggressor for a majority of the time. And then father was programmed to tell dad jokes. Look, I'm not saying, once again, I'm not trying to say there's supposed to be a most prominent, definite role with the mother and the father, but come on, man. Come on. I know one person doesn't have to do this all the time, doesn't do all that all the time, but we know just by nature who's going to almost automatically cling to what, who's automatically cling to this. Why would you do? I guess they wanted to make an interesting dynamic between the two, to where you something that you would not think they would do normally, and they came with this. But you made father almost completely unusable, useless. He was almost useless because you have please made him a little more useful than that. That's my whole point. I don't care if mother is almost like a horror character and stuff. It's how scared people were of her in the damn show. I don't care about all that. Yeah, she can be furious and all that and do what she has to do, whatever. But father, why must he be disrespected like this? Why is he made to be so weak? That's the problem. That's the problem going on there with that show. And now we have Andy from Alien Romulus. And my question is, does Andy deserve a spot in the list? We're about to find out. Let's go. Alien Romulus, for those who don't know, for those who are not aware, If you're not aware of Alien Romulus by now, with all the alien fandom and people who know about aliens from the past and whatnot, and how many times they show this trailer, then you are trapped in space right now. You're up in space just trying to escape from the messed up dystopia you were living in recently. And I understand. If that's your case, I understand completely. Yeah, escape. But other than that, no, don't do this to me. Don't do that to me, man. You're getting penalized almost immediately. Alien Romulus, pretty much about our main character, Rain, who's been sent, or some kind of mission she's going on with her old family synthetic, Andy, who's kind of losing it. He's an old model who needs to be re-upped. Okay, so she bumps into this group of friends, and they have this plan to go salvage whatever is left of an old ship from part 1. Right. And because it's about to explode. So they got to get some stuff from there or whatever. And I'm probably messing this whole plot up. but it was kind of all over the place with that one. But, this is what was going on. And so they decide to bring her along. They go on this mission, all right, to see what's going on with that old ship that will crash in 30 minutes or to an hour or whatever the hell, or the 3 hours or something like that. And upon getting on that ship, they unfortunately find out that there are still aliens, Xenos, eggs on that ship, ready to hatch. They thought they got the last one from the other incident, but they clearly did not. And so now there is a huge problem, no duh. And that's the premise of the movie. Positives. This brought back that old school feel. All right. I felt like I was watching the first one for the first time, actually. Like, oh, this is a new, improved, better one. But it's not a remake. I'm saying how it looked, the visuals. It had that 1970s on the brink of 80s kind of look to it, but it still looked good. It looked good. It didn't look corny or cheesy or nothing like that. From the visuals outside of the ship to the inside, the lights, the red lights when there was danger, just the feel of it, just the feel like something was about to happen each time. You knew when something was about to happen, or maybe not, or you just thought you had this feeling, this tension, which I'm going to get into in a little bit. But for the look of it, it felt like I was on the ship back there with Ripley and the whole gang again. All right, it didn't leave from that era. It didn't try to make it look like it was so updated and brand new that it just fell apart from what your original content was from the first one. If that makes any sense at all, that's how it felt, and I respect it for that. Another one. The tension was real. In this movie, the tension was so real. The sweating from the people, the nervousness of the characters, how nervous they got, how they felt, how much in danger they were. They let you know this. All right. The music in the background, everything came together perfectly in this film, man. Okay. Just the actions that some people took in the movie. There's a certain character in here played by Spike Fern. Forgot his name that fast. But, he was not being easy on Andy, okay, at all. And there was a reason behind that. And so when they got on the ship, he didn't let up. And you would think he would let up if he was a smart person and kind of give Andy a break, but he did not. and you knew something bad was coming because of that. All right, and you can feel that. You can feel it's kind of sneaking up. That part was coming, like, oh, I know, oh man, this ain't gonna go right because they already got beef. They got tension between them two, and so where is this gonna go? Where is this gonna go? What's gonna happen here? And I felt every vibe of that, along with the look. All right, another positive. Thank goodness the synthetic was reprogrammed, because at first Andy wasn't doing too well. He was a little on the slow side. And I was like, is this what we're gonna do? Now, we already had the mother and father incident in Raised by Wolves with, father. He's a black robot. Now we got another black robot. And he's Bubba Gump. We'll talk about that later on. But then, all of a sudden, when they decided it was, a good idea, they took the chip out and they put another chip in. And he got smart. All of a sudden. Oh man, the thing is coming out of his mouth. Word, genius. And for the better of the group and the mission. And I had to agree with every part of that. I was like, what is y'all problem? This man is thinking critically. It's critical thinking he's using. I'm sorry how cold it is, but we don't have time for feelings. All right? And so I liked when he got the upgrade, because the decisions he was making they make sense when you take emotions out of that. It makes sense. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Last positive. There was the reveal of something epic at the end. And I can't get too much into that, obviously. But let's just say that it was well needed. It was a long time coming. Now, they did something like this in Alien Covenant. I'm not going to say what it is again, obviously. But when they did it in Alien Covenant, I was thankful. I was very thankful they did that. Okay, I almost stood up and clapped. When that happened. But what it came down to it in this movie, and they did that towards the end. They did that one thing. I was like, oh man, this is what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's how you do an alien movie. That's what makes it move on. That makes the whole thing move on and gradually, succeed in keeping its audience interested in what they're watching, man. And you hope that this will carry on into another story they have to tell. I'm not sure how far this is going to go. All right. But that was well needed at the end. I'm just going to say that. Negatives. I couldn't stand the lead character in the movie, Rain. My reason why. First of all, she whined so much and cried so much about the decisions her dear Andy was making. And because that's not the same Andy, you idiot. That's not the same Andy. You do understand that, right? You do understand that. That's not the same Andy. Stop crying about that crap. Please, cut it out. He's going to make decisions that he needs to make. Okay. And if you don't like it, well, he's trying to keep your butt alive. All right? If he made the decision y'all made, it wouldn't have been good. Short movie. And plus, she has that whole thing where something was protecting her the entire movie. I'm not going to say what other people say, the famous phrase. I'm not saying that. I'll do my own thing. It felt like she just couldn't be touched. throughout for most of the movie. She couldn't be touched, or they didn't want one scratch on old dear Rain there, and I didn't like that. I need my lead character to go through a struggle. Ripley went through some struggle. Ripley went through some things. Rain, no, she did not go through anything, in my opinion. So I just don't cut for this one. And I'd rather cut for the one in Prometheus. As dirty as they did her. They did her dirty. They did her real dirty. But I cut for her more than this. All right? Another negative. Why did the synthetic, for the most part, have to be Bubba Gump? He was Bubba Gump the entire time.
I want to go home.
And it had me thinking, why every time it comes to a dark synthetic, we have to be done so wrong. And I'm kind of joking. But at the same time, I'm kind of not. It's just weird that when it came to the black synthetic, y'all, what? I'm not trying to be that guy. But come on, man. Come on. So thank goodness they upgraded him, as I said earlier. But you made him a whole Forrest Gump character when he was not upgraded. A couple of times. It kind of went back and forth a little bit. Back and forth through the movie, in my opinion. And it is just such a dirty thing to do to the synthetic, man. I didn't want to see. I was asking the same question. I was like, why are you bringing this synthetic on this mission? Like, in the condition it is, let it go. Let it go. Let the synthetic go. It is of no help at all. It's going to be a liability the entire time unless you do something like they did and upgraded it. It's going to be no help at all. It's going to hold us back. It's dumb. It's completely dumb. It was dumb when the movie started off. Okay? A bunch of kids kicked its ass. And it did nothing because I know they're programmed not to do anything. But wouldn't you protect yourself at least? Because, for the good of your owner, right? That's what y'all do, right? Y'all do things for the good of your owner or whoever programmed you. I thought. But you curled up in a ball when some kids kicked your ass. I don't like that. I don't like that. We're gonna have to stop doing that. All right, please, or make somebody else with that mind frame for the next Alien movie. Could you? Last negative. I've already mentioned this before, but I have to mention this again. The lead character was babied so bad. They were babied. I'm not even gonna say the lead character. I'm not gonna say lead character. I've already talked about her. We've talked enough about the lead character. Let's talk about the fact on how dumb the rest of the crew was. You had another guy in there that, yes, right along with the lead character, when the robot made the decision that it made, he was also screaming and crying and yelling and doing stupid stuff that, you should not be doing. You should understand. A person with common sense should understand why they made that decision. And then I think the only character in this movie that might have been somewhat smart, I'm not sure, but despite her being in a bad situation of her own, I'm not going to say what it is. I don't want to spoil nothing, but she got a raw end of the stick, and she was to herself the entire time, to be honest with you. So I feel bad for her. I feel bad. And she's going to be a very important, part to this movie towards the end. Not going to say why. Not saying why or what's going on, but because of that. And I have to give this a hell yes. A hell yes. Because I didn't expect this much goodness out of the movie. All right? Plain and simple. Press that like button. Share. Subscribe.